Hi, everybody. Welcome to the channel. Thank you for tuning in. I'm going to try something a little bit different. I'm trying to do some new effect housing for the TikTok channel and stuff. But I found this team picker wheel on Google. You have to input the list. So I got a bunch of wrestlers in here from WWE, AEW, TNA. Just I'm still building up the list, adding names onto it at the moment. But over here we have 8 different promotions teams. All right. So basically what happens, it randomizes it, so you can kind of see like a makeup roster basically on this one, and you can pick a representative the battle a little bit, make it up your own. So I'm just gonna try this one and show you what I'm thinking of doing for the little challenges. So let's go. See, randomizes it. It's not a lot of So, if you were to have these made up rosters for the promotions, you will have WWE Cody Rhodes, Nick Aldis, Hardcore Harley, Bobby Roode, Tommy Dreamer, William Regal, Leon Slater, Myron Reed, Nick Jackson, and Rob Van Dam. That don't sound too terrible for a roster, to be fair. That sounds pretty big cardish, you know. That's not too bad. Intercontinental title, if you have that as its main title, I could see that working. TNA, Joe Hendry, typical. Tinjeri, Edge, Al Snow, Chris Benoit. I don't care what people say. I knew Chris Benoit as a wrestler, therefore I included him in some of my stuff. That's the end of the conversation. But he wasn't the best technicals at the time, so I'm still including him. Chris Benoit, Kurt Angle, Stone Cold, Matt Hardy, Brian Danielson, Solo Sikoa. Do you know what? That TNA roster isn't bad. I think that would be a pretty decent roster, to be fair. Al Snow will take a bunch of pins, but you got Angle and Austin. They always had good battles. You got Edge and you got Matt Hardy. I think that's a pretty decent roster, to be fair. I must admit that's not bad selection. So AEW, Booker T, Crash Harley, Rikishi, Devon, Undertaker, Funaki, Jeff Hardy, Kazarian, Ray Phoenix, Chris Daniels, and John Moxley. How did John Moxley ended up in the AEW, Joe Hendry TNA, and Cody Rhodes W, who he was a randomizer? That just yeah. That's not bad. One minute, Devon seems a bit out of place in that group. Funaki will take the pins like Al Snow over here, and the same over here for like my Reed. He will take the pins. Uh, Potential, but I think the best one so far is the TNA one. WCW, Pete Williams, Carmelo Hayes, AJ Styles, Mason Red, Stevie Richards, The Rock, James Storm, Steve Macklin, Dean Malenko, and 911 from ECW. That started off really well because they got quite a few X Division guys. That would be a very good fatal four way between those guys. I can see where that would work. The Rock just seems really out of place in this one, though. I must admit, the Rock seems out of place in that one. And then we have ECW. You got Sting, HBK, Obafemi, Takamichi who I couldn't be bothered about his whole name last night. Scott Hall, Chris Sabin, Chris Jericho, Jimmy Uso, Brian Clark from Chronic, Kenny Omega. That don't sound too bad of a roster, to be fair. New Japan, you got D'Lo Brown, Big Show, Jay Uso, Raven, Cesaro, Kushida, Matt Jackson, Bubba Ray Dudley, Mystico, Austin Aries, and Brian Adams from Chronic. I can see the potential in that when you got a couple of feuds there. You got, Jay Uso and Cesaro potentially. You got Kushida and Austin Aries, who just had a match at MLW. Bobby Ray Dudley, who used him as Bully Ray. That would work against Big Show. D'Lo Brown against Brian Adams. I could see some potential there. Like, it's not as good as the TNA one, but, yeah, I could see that. Ring of Honor. Jacob Fatu, Randy Orton, Darby Allin, John Cena, Eddie Guerrero, Trick Williams, Will Ospreay, Hulk Hogan, Lita Fatu, The Miz, Spike Dudley. That actually probably is the second best one out of all of these. Let me know what you guys reckon on this one. I must admit, Ring of Honor Teenage Bosses definitely have a better grouping of people that I think you can do a lot with, especially like Jacob Fatu and Darby Allin. Them guys in some hardcore matchup would probably be insane. Spike Dudley throw in the mix as well, definitely. OVW, Billy Kidman, Kane, Chris Harris, Christian, Penta, Kenta, Triple H, Kroger. He's a heel guy in MLW, monster guy, a bit like a Biss and Kane sort of deal. Mankind, Roman Reigns. These two will have a slab and knock over hardcore matchup between those two. Penta, which he like. Chris Howard, in the early days, he was really good in single matches and stuff like that. To be fair, he didn't get the biggest push in the end. It just kind of got too late for him, but he was good in terms of being. He could have been that main event guy. They were slowly pushing him to that when he had a brief split with James Storm on the AEW. And Roman Reigns, Triple H. So, you know what? Let me know what you guys reckon would be the best roster to actually use, because I think it's not terrible, some of the ideas. And then if we really want to make it different, we can rechange this. Let's have a look. Okay, so now what we can basically do is like who would win, for example. Nick Aldis versus Al Snow. John Moxley versus AJ Styles. Zeta Vatu versus Kenta. Big Show versus Obafemi. And then, you'd be like, okay, so who will win out of those two and who will win out of them two? So this could be something of a bit of a podcasty video, potentially. If this is an idea that you guys will be up for, let me know in the comments and stuff, and we'll try and work on something. Well, this is episode 1 intro for Team Picker Challenge. Let me know what you guys reckon on using this. I will add more names into this list, but you have to do it manually, so it's a little bit long-winded. But let me know what you guys reckon on this one. I think it might be some potential. But we can also do things like title ones, maybe, like you can change these names, so we can look at different name ideas, stuff like that. So potentially this is just a rough base of trying to use the team picker wheel just to see how it would work. Thank you for tuning in. You listened through the whole thing, and God bless.